People love to say that once you become aware of something, everything changes. But if that was true, most people would be living completely different lives. Welcome to the authority practice. There's a pattern that I see all the time when someone realizes something about their life very clearly. Perhaps they see a job that begins to be overwhelming and coming to an end. Um, they perhaps see a relationship that isn't working. They notice they're overextending themselves, or they catch themselves saying yes when they actually mean no. You can explain it, um, you can understand it, and you're fully aware of it, but nothing changes. You are circling around the same dynamics, the same decisions, and you're getting essentially the same outcomes. And that creates a very specific kind of frustration because now you can see it and you're still in it. So naturally, people tend to assume that, oh, I must not fully understand this yet. Or maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe I need more insight. Maybe I need to go deeper. But most of the times, that's not even the problem. The problem isn't that you need more awareness. It's it's a gap between the awareness that you already has have been given and making a decision. Awareness lets you see it clearly without requiring you to change anything. Most of us have that. We're very self-aware. But decision is what actually changes things. And that is where the problem lies. That's where people get growth wrong. They treat awareness like it's transformation or like it's the answer. And it's not, it is just the beginning. In fact, real change usually moves in three parts. You see the pattern, you decide to do something different with that pattern, then you actually follow through. So you see it, you make a decision to do something, and then you put an action behind it. Most people never leave the first step. They think awareness is always the goal. Awareness is just the beginning. They see it, they understand it, and they can talk about it all day and find themselves in circles because they don't decide. And without a decision, nothing moves, nothing changes, and nothing evolves. So there's also this quiet belief that people carry that if they understand themselves, more deeply, their their behavior would just shift, but it won't, because behavior doesn't change because you understand yourself or you understand something or you can articulate it. It changes when you decide to do something different. When especially when the decision costs you something, because awareness is comfortable. um it doesn't changes anything. It's just the clarity of knowing something and standing still. But a decision, it isn't comfortable. um Awareness lets you observe a pattern and be able to articulate it. The decision forces you to interrupt it, especially if it's not in your best interest. So the real question is, what happens in that space between awareness and action? Like, what is stopping us? What is going on between we're having an awareness and we have yet to make a decision, to make a choice or an action? Why do people see clearly and still stand still, and still stay the same? Usually it comes down to, like, I have thought about it, and it comes down to three things. They're avoiding the consequence of their actions. They're avoiding the discomfort of how it would feel to make an action, or they're avoiding a shift that is potentially what happened in a relationship dynamic, essentially consequences. And if you don't deal with that, awareness will never turn into change. So you essentially feel yourself at a standstill and not evolving and not growing, because you feel that you have this sudden awareness, and that is the end of that is the end goal. But let's make it real. Someone realizes that they're in a one-sided relationship, and I am using relationship simply because it is common. Relationships, we all have connections and dynamics, and that is very common for someone to be in a misaligned situation, whether it is a job connection, friendship connection, or a romantic situation. You see it, it's one-sided. You you are always the one that is initiating the link between the two of you, and perhaps you're always giving more, and you're not being met the same way. And to be honest, it pulls on it pulls on your heartstrings or your emotional intellect. And that is the awareness. You have been given awareness as to how a relationship is showing up. But then comes the moment where a decision is required, that you have to say something, or you have to pull back, adjust yourself, adjust the situation, or stop overextending. That's and essentially that's where everything stalls, because why? Because there's a cost. It could potentially create some tension. It could disappoint someone. It may change the relationship entirely. So instead, you stay in the awareness and you think about it, you overanalyze it, you go over it again and again, but nothing actually changes. And it's not because you don't see it, but because you just haven't decided to respond to what you see. And perhaps you are waiting for something more dramatic to happen, which is also giving your power away to someone else, because you're the one that received the clarity. You're the one that receives the awareness. You're the one that feels the the unrequited love, the unbalance in it. So Here's something that you can actually use. The next time you recognize a pattern, ask yourself this: what decisions is this awareness asking me to make? Not what did I realize or what do I understand? What decision is required here? Like, what do I need to do? What is it asking me to do? Don't make a decision yet. Just have that decision in your head and write it down on a piece of paper. What is this what write it down on a piece of paper. What is this decision requiring from me? What is it asking me to do? Then ask yourself, what am I avoiding by not making this decision? Because this answer will tell you everything. You know, what am I avoiding by not making this decision? If I don't make this decision, excuse me, if I don't make this decision, what am I avoiding by not making it? That is going to give you your answer. And then what would it look like if I act on this now, even in the smallest way? Remember, if it's a relationship, if energy or time or is all you're going to pull back, it isn't the end of the relationship. This is just an adjustment period. So, what would it look like if I act on it this right now, even in the most smallest way? Because self authority isn't built through big dramatic moves like you end in the relationship or you end in the disconnection. It isn't going to be built that way. You have to have an experience where you show up differently, where you are making a decision. Is built in the small moments, the same thing that brought it down, where you actually honor what you already know. So if it is overextending, then perhaps you don't overextend yourself. You you feel called to say, oh, I'll do that for you, but you take a deep breath and you say, you know what, this time I'm not going to suggest I do that. That's it. Most people, they don't lack awareness. They already see the patterns in real life. It's shaping their life. They know that. The issue is awareness doesn't require anything from you. Decision does. You can have awareness and not do anything. And the moment you move from awareness into decision, your life changes. Your life starts to reorganize, not because you became more clear, it's because you finally responding to the clarity you already have, to the inner knowing that's already within you. So I'm going to leave you with this. If nothing is changing, not because you don't see it, it's because you haven't decided. It's time to make a different choice. This is the work of self authority, and this is the authority practice. Please like, share, comment. I love you. Thank you, and come back for the next episode.